Restoration of a watch from a very famous brand. The gilding on the expensive case has worn off, and they brought it to us to restore its marketable appearance. Judging by the inscriptions, the case is made of silver, which means there should be no problems with the coating. Mamoreke, Gunim, Bembibian. I already have a painful experience restoring cheap zinc watches. You can watch the video in my profile. I spent a whole lot of time on them, but after that, it's not scary to take on other cases. So, first, I unscrewed all the screws, removed the back cover, and took out the mechanism. Now it's necessary to determine the thickness of the gold plating on this body. I conducted a spectral analysis on the most undamaged area, and the test result showed 70% gold content. Then I turned the body to the worn side, and the spectrometer didn't find any gold there at all. However, it confirmed the silver assay. So, I understand the next steps of the work. The main thing is to avoid surprises. I unbuckle the leather strap and remove all the gold-plated parts. Since the watch glass was glued tightly to the case, I didn't even try to remove it, but simply decided to protect it by sticking a small piece of aluminum tape on it. Smoothed it with a fingernail, revealing the joint with the body, carefully trimmed the perimeter of the glass with a scalpel, and removed all the excess. Next, I began sanding to remove all the large scratches from the protruding parts. By the way, on the inside of the cover, the gilding somehow began to peel. I of course did not expect this, but I had to nearly completely from the inside. Now I am assembling the casing and tightening the screws so as not to damage or interfere with the sharp edge at the seam of the two halves during polishing with a felt disc. Now, it is necessary to restore the satin finish on the underside of the case. For this, with the help of a ruler, I grind the watch on a strip of coarse sandpaper. Then I unscrew the screws, disassemble the case, thoroughly wash everything in the ultrasonic cleaner, remove the double-sided tape, and do the final polishing of the glossy surfaces with a new puff, because the sides got scratched on the wooden ruler when applying the satin finish. Well, the watch case is ready for gold electroplating, but first the surface needs to be prepared. I changed the water in the ultrasonic cleaner just in case, blew it with a steam generator, degreased it with a special solution through electrochemical method, rinsed it in running and distilled water, and immersed it in the gilding solution for 5 minutes. 5 minutes, then rinsed it and went to check the thickness of the layer using a spectrometer. Actually, I do this with the usual settings using the infrared method. But after the first coating, it became clear that the gold layer was not thick enough, so I repeated the operation until I saw 75% gold in the alloy composition. Now, with the coating ready, I wash the fittings and start assembling the watch. Slightly wetting a cotton swab, I carefully clean the dial from dirt and metal, of tiny dust particles. Carefully, trying not to touch with my fingers, I place the mechanism in the case, cover it with the back, and tighten all the screws. This is the kind of repair I achieved, and except for the peeling of the gilding on the inside of the back cover, there were no more issues. This is how ideally jewelry repair should proceed. Easily and naturally, but unfortunately that's not always the case. But with this watch, everything is fine. After all, it's